Say, young fella, have you ever been to a rock and roll concert? Did it change your life? Do you have any good memories from those rock and roll heavy metal shows? Hey, if you had to give me a list of some of your top 5 concerts ever, what would be on that list? Stay tuned to the Heavens Middle podcast. You're going to find out a couple on my list. So, one night I was at the Cedar Park Center and had some press tickets and a photo pass to see Motley Crue and a couple other bands like that. I might have been a big Motley Crue tour. I can't remember. I can't remember who else was on the bill. Anyway, I was sitting, a buddy of mine that used to work at the Department of Agriculture where I worked, a guy named David Glessner. He is a rock journalist, did a lot of heavy metal journalism in San Antonio and stuff during the day. So when I started working for the Department of Agriculture, he was there for before he moved on to some other agency. Got to enjoy talking with him about rock and roll and journalism and whatnot. Anyway, so I was sitting there, him and his wife were sitting there, and at one point during the Motley Crue show, his wife goes, "What are the top 5 concerts you've ever seen?" You know, I want to say that Motley Crue was on her list, or maybe that show that night was on her list of top 5 shows she's ever been to. And what was yours? What's your top 5 concerts you've ever been to, Doug? And I thought about it, and I referenced U2 on the Unforgettable Fire Tour in Austin, Texas. They ended their set with the song 40, which is from the Psalm 40. And the song kind of has the refrain, "How long to sing this song?" And the concert had ended, but the crowd kept singing that. "How long to sing this song?" You know, 12 to 17,000 people singing this. You know, the concert was over. The band had left the stage. The lights had come on. The crew was breaking down stuff already. And the crowd kept singing that song for 3 to 5 minutes. It was so powerful. It was like we did not want that night to end, and we kept singing that refrain. That was one of my top 5 shows. And this band called Jerusalem. And Glessner's wife was like, "Jerusalem? Jerusalem? Are you crazy?" Like, I don't think who the heck is Jerusalem? So let me tell you about this moment at a Jerusalem concert. There's 2 amazing things that happened that night. It was at this festival called Exodus, and it was in Victoria, Texas. And it was really on the farmland of this older couple that loved Jesus. And there was Dennis Welch, I think, was there. Kemper Crab was there. Prodigal was there. First Strike was there. Resurrection Band was there. And Jerusalem was there. The headliner was Resurrection Band, but there was an airline strike that summer, the summer of '85. And Jerusalem was stuck in Utah, the previous night's concert. And they couldn't get a plane to get to Houston because of the airline strike. And so Res Band volunteered to take Jerusalem's slot so Jerusalem could go on after them. And the lady who owned the property got in her little car, little Toyota Celica, and drove to the airport, probably Houston International, to go pick up, because they finally got Jerusalem booked on a flight. And she told the story on stage that later on that day that she got pulled over because here's this little old lady with these 4 long-haired guys and crammed into this little tiny Toyota car. You know, and the sheriff probably thought he had a bunch of druggies that maybe he kidnapped a grandma or something. And she was like, "Oh, they're nice Christian boys." You know, and they were going to play this Christian rock festival in her backyard. It was like, 100 acres or more. And anyway, so the guys in Jerusalem must have been wiped out. You know, the stress of trying to catch a flight, missing flights, and arriving somewhere without all your baggage and stuff. It's probably not a pleasant experience. So I imagine that they probably prayed before they went on. They were a Christian band that took their craft seriously, not just as musicians, but as ministers of the gospel. They probably prayed, "God, we don't have much to offer tonight. We just offer what we have to you." And at one point, there was like this magical music video that God put on. They played a song called "The Wind Is Blowing," And right as the song was starting, this long keyboard intro, all of a sudden these little baby cotton ball type clouds just kind of started coming down from the sky and kind of settling as if they were on a sheet of glass above our heads, about, a couple 100 feet in the air. It looked like you could probably reach up and touch them, but of course they were, you know, probably more than a couple 100 feet up there. But it looked like they would come down on the sheet of glass and almost flatten a little bit, like they were really, and just dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of these little clouds. And they were out there playing this song, and the wind began to blow, and all of a sudden, at that moment in the song, whoosh, 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 these clouds just started moving in the same direction, just zooming past us. It was like, wow, God was putting on his own music television, music video. But the moment that came after that was phenomenal. And this is the moment that bridged the gap between stage and audience. Ulf Christensen, the leader of Jerusalem, I think he was strumming an acoustic guitar for this tune. It was just a simple tune, "Love is my weapon," and he had the crowd singing it. And after he had the crowd singing it, and it became a chorus, it was just this refrain, it was repeating, "Love is my weapon," he set his guitar down, he hopped off the stage, he came and gave me a big hug, and then he gave someone else a hug, and everybody in the audience started turning around, and they were singing "Love is my weapon," and we were hugging each other, and tears were flowing. And that was like a magical moment. Man, that was awesome. And that message, love is my weapon, and love is like, Jesus, love the Lord your God, and love each other as your brother. And so love is like, Jesus is the minister of love, the Messiah of love. He is love. And so that message just sunk home at that concert. Love is my weapon. And just the whole audience hugging each other, singing this song, "Love is my weapon." That is one of my top 5 concert experiences ever. So, there you go. Join the discussion.